What up, Dokkaners? Let's go ahead and review some of the best teams to run with the new DAIMA Super Saiyan 3 Mini Goku. Whether you pulled the character or not, this video will provide what I think are the best ways to utilize the character. The good news is this character is pretty easy to use, but with the risk. So we're gonna go ahead and break all that stuff down in this video. Just know when it comes to best teams, it is subjective, it is opinion-based. What I consider to be the best team might be different from your vision, depending on your circumstances or whatnot. So if you have any additional team-up combinations or underrated setups that I don't mention in the video, do share it in the comments down below. I'm going to try to be general here so that this video doesn't go on forever, but I think this should be a pretty straightforward video. So let's start by breaking down what this character can do, and then we're going to go over main lead teams, off lead teams, and no new units. Starting with the breakdown. So I think I'm going to start doing this moving forward, just like a little summary at the beginning. In terms of his best friends, what you're going to be seeing most in this video are these three characters. His best offense buddy is going to be the Super Saiyan 4 adult, because pure damage, maximum carnage. If the EX super attack provides a guaranteed crit for this guy, his EX is more likely to happen. So these two together, very powerful combination. In terms of defense, this guy will actually give this unit more longevity, which we'll get to in a minute. And this guy will provide regen for the damage that he might sustain when he starts to lose some of his defensive capabilities, and also supplement his own little regen. So basically what this guy can do, he is a slot 1 setup. He is going to be providing, with that EX attack, if you get lucky, team critical of 100%. That's the massive reward, but the risk comes into play as you move on in the fight. For the first 3 turns, you have guard, extra stats, and 33% damage reduction on top of your 33%. So 66% damage reduction in guard, which is good in theory for most fights. As you go to some of the more difficult fights, 55% might struggle, but the more copies you have, the better. But after 3 turns, you're going to lose this cushioning in slot 0. After 5 turns, you're going to lose guard altogether and the extra stats, leaving you with only 33% damage reduction and 33% dodge. The only way that more dodge will kick in is if your health drops below 33%. And that's the risky part of this character's design, because as you get more squishy, you're going to be kind of lounging around the red zone area, pardon the pun, in terms of your health. He has minor amounts of regen just so that your surviving KO mechanic can continue to proc every single turn. I don't know about you guys, I don't like living on the edge that much. I do enjoy the occasional, little health scenario so that certain abilities can proc, but my goal ultimately is to get out of that, and I just don't like having a character in this low health range for very long. So what I want to do with this character, besides allowing him to set up the other units on the rotation, is to get away back into the normal health range by getting that extra regen, and that is where someone like the PHY SSJ3 GOKU will come in. What this guy can do is he can provide team guard for all DAIMA characters after a certain point, and so by then, yeah, you're going to lose some of that extra stats here, but at least you will get back the guard. So if you supplement the perma guard with the dodge and the damage reduction with additional hit potential dodge, you can make this guy more consistent in the slot 1 for longer. But essentially, this character is built for shorter fights. Risk reward, max dodge recommended, will appreciate in value once Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta adult is coinable, which is likely going to be happening during the next celebration of interest, which is GDC. Cannot run the AGL Kai Fighters on the team while the DAIMA Mini Super Saiyan 3 Goku is the lead. Unfortunately, his leader skill, while it is useful to boost up some niche categories, overall isn't a very good leader set, because these categories are not the greatest in terms of bringing in the characters that can really help him. It's more so about him helping others. You can't put PHY SSJ3 GOKU on that team. DAIMA Super Saiyan 4 is practically on every best team setup, because again, we're trying to get the most out of this unit, and to get the most out of him, we want to get the most damage out there. If he provides team crit for everybody, who's going to benefit the most? It's going to be characters like Beast Gohan, DAIMA Super Saiyan 4. DAIMA Super Saiyan 4 is the biggest beneficiary, because if he gets that guaranteed crit, his EX will then proc, providing insane amounts of extra attack over multiple turns, thereby making everyone else even stronger. So most of the teams that you're going to see in this video are going to be comprised of at least 1, 2, or even 3 of these characters in there. And that's just how it is, because that's how we make the most out of the character. So now, in terms of who he fits under, this is what we got. So we got a whole bunch of options here, because he's a Goku, so obviously he's going to fit everywhere. But in terms of the best options for team building, I would say it's probably going to be these 4 other leader skills: the DAIMAs, the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and I would also say this guy, 10th Anniversary Goku, because he still gives you the flexibility of bringing in fused fighters, other pure Saiyans. In terms of the best team in the game that's not the Metal Cooler like Terrifying Conquerors, I would say the best superclass team is a Power of Wishes slash Pure Saiyans slash Fused Fighter type of team. So this guy fits onto that setup, and he can also work with these leader skills. So you're going to be seeing a lot of these guys in today's video. In terms of who this unit provides leader skills for, we just click the lead buffs button right here, and we will see all of these characters and where they fit. So you're going to see a lot of DAIMA, and you're seeing the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and the Goku basically everywhere. You got a bunch of DAIMA up here: Dragon Ball Seekers DAIMA, Dragon Ball Seekers Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Mastered Evolution. Down here, this is where we start to expand out a little bit, but there's not too many options in terms of top tier. You do have the Super Saiyan 3 Hirudegarn now with his EZA. This guy, I think, gets a little bit of a resurgence because of, you know, the team crit now. He's still a defensive focused character, but with the crit, he will get a little bit more damage out there. Majin Vegeta, I think, is actually going to do very well here, but not Majin Vegeta, but the Goku side. But keep in mind, he is an extreme character because of the restriction that you have to have 6 or more superclass allies on the team. You cannot run an extreme class lead, both as the main lead and the friend lead. You have to be very careful. Only one extreme character is essentially permitted on a team that includes the DAIMA Mini Super Saiyan 3. So going back here, other exceptional units. You got Resurrection F Blues. You got the Blue Goku, still one of the best characters in the game, and that's about it. Yeah, I mean, you got the gods here, Super Saiyan 3 TUR. Okay, and then moving further down, we kind of go back and repeat in terms of the characters. A couple more show up here. You got some extreme units. You're not going to be seeing a whole lot of extreme action on these teams. God Goku is going to be a great fit on this squad. Super Saiyan 4 is also going to be a good fit because of the regen capabilities that he can provide. Not nearly on the same level as the Kai Fighters Goku, but it can be useful. So I actually think that he will be an underrated asset, and you can probably more consistently allow for his transformation to happen sooner. And also, speaking of which, his orb changing will help the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta LR, who does not fit. I'm just noticing he does not fit. Oh man, he doesn't fit on this leader skill at all. Well, that sucks. The Int Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, he needs Rainbow Key Spheres in order to maximize his tanking. So this guy will actually give you that. So that's actually going to make for a nice 1-2 punch between those guys. So that being said, we have gone over what the character is essentially like. We've talked about little summation of what he does, leader skill, and all that stuff. Let's go ahead and build our first team, and then I will fast forward through the rest of it. So our first team demo here, we're going to be talking about what this guy does as a double main lead. So we've got both of these guys anchored in the slot 1 position, and then we want to get our damagers out there. So let's get our one extreme character. There's our Majin Vegeta and Goku. And then let's get the ultimate Link buddy, which is the DAIMA Super Saiyan 4. Actually, we'll do that. We got to get our ultimate defender in here to provide that team defense. So we've got the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta right there. And then let's throw in a couple more. Let me get Blue Goku right there. And lastly, let's get Spirit Bomb Z. All right. Here we go. This is the best team that you can run with double DAIMA Super Saiyan 3 Goku on the team as your leads. In my honest opinion, this is not the best team that can be run with the character on the squad, but with double main lead, this is what we're going to have to do. And it's pretty simple. Dodge and tank in slot 1, massive damage in slot 2, additional defense after a few turns once the damage reduction and the guard wears off. This will allow this character to be more consistent, but there can still be some issues as you continue on. But by that point, the Spirit Bomb Z will have built up enough defense to where you could switch this guy with a standby or just in general into the slot 1 position. And after that, if you just want to have these units remain out of the slot 1 and out of danger for the most part, you can have them evacuate and then have these two characters kind of step in as your slot 1, sort of resuming the original prototypical setup, right? Anchoring with defense support on the entire turn, forgetting the team critical aspect and just doing something like this. So there is some flexibility in terms of positioning. There is initial massive damage potential to allow for the fights to go on a little bit quicker. This guy can also provide orb changing to give this character additional critical. He does get additional crit per key sphere obtained. I don't really care about the damage that this guy provides for the most part, just because I'm mainly focused on the team aspect, but he can also do a ton of damage with the orbs picked up and also with his active, which can raise his attack by 1300%. So he does have insane damage potential. So I think that this is a safe way to kind of get the ball rolling while also providing some sort of stability for longer fights. In terms of alternates, I mean, The extreme options will be limited, so whatever you bring in, make sure there's only one of them. So I throw in the Goma here because Goma can provide defense, and then after that it's just any other Goku character that can work. Super Saiyan 3 untested as of yet, but we know what he is going to do. He's going to provide some great slot 2, good damage. He is not going to be as reliant on the team critical guarantee because he's going to have a pretty high critical hit ratio himself as it is, but then he also has scouting, dodging when he goes into standby, so he'll be good. DAIMA Mini Super Saiyan 4 is basically just this guy but smaller, and he's also going to do a ton of damage. Great countering too. He has the he doesn't have, yeah, so this guy can do a ton of damage, but he doesn't have a counter. This guy has a counter, so actually he could be better depending on the situation that you're in. And then I just put really anybody else. I think God Goku is going to work well here because of his orb changing. Maybe you don't necessarily care about the slot 3 setup, you care more so about this unit getting his damage going. So with the orb changing that the physical God Goku could provide in that slot 3, that could set up for a nice juicy output for Super Saiyan 3 DAIMA Mini in slot 1. So here's some options. This is the best team with the main lead setup. In my opinion, this I think is the best setup to run with the DAIMA Mini Super Saiyan 3 off a main lead provided by the DAIMA Super Saiyan 4 Adult. Because here we are focusing on pure damage, and with only one DAIMA Super Saiyan 3 Mini, we can kind of isolate the risk to the one rotation instead of having it on both. Imagine especially without the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta here. Oh yeah, there's an option now to remove this. Without the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta to provide that extra guard after his guard wears off, if you were to have double Super Saiyan 3 DAIMA leading the rotations, you're always going to be kind of playing it risky in terms of incoming damage slot 0. That's not going to be necessarily the most fun way to play unless you like living on the edge like that. If it's just one rotation, you can sort of prepare for it with some, rotations that can give extra defense, maybe use an item, things like that. I think that this is a better way to utilize the character, having it more isolated. And so with double Super Saiyan 4, this is why I like this so much. He will provide the team crit ideally with his EX super. If he does, the likelihood of this guy executing his EX attack isn't going to be reliant on the fact that he has maximum ki, because his EX super needs to just be a crit incoming. If he's got a crit, oh wait, I just realized, oops, is my team set up this? Yeah, here it is. In order for this guy's EX to proc, it just has to be that the first attack in the turn is going to be a crit. It's not dependent on the orbs. We want the orbs to be there so that he can launch an ultra super, but it doesn't matter if it's not going to be a crit. So while the one rotation provides the Hachiak Goku in terms of the orbs, the other rotation just gives the team crit. So both ways, we have an easy setup for DAIMA Super Saiyan 4 to shine in the slot 2. So with all that extra attack rotating between the two rotations, we're going to have so much more damage coming in. And then also, as this guy gets flimsier, or if you just don't want this guy to be on the main rotation at all, you could always swap in Birdku. We've already seen how proven he is in terms of a tank. He's also got crazy damage potential. We have a revive in place should this guy's, guard and damage reduction wear off to the point where he almost gets you killed and you end the rotation with like 5% health. You come back to this rotation, he's going to lose all of his stats that he would have above 60% health. You execute the revive. Now he is much stronger than before. Your health comes back. He is now less of a problem until the next situation that comes up where he once again almost gets you killed. At that point, this guy can swoop in and maybe take over the slot 1 responsibilities. He has a full heal once, but then he also gives you a ton of health when your health is below 59%. He has regen on his super. So there's more flexibility with this setup after a few turns if you don't have the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta on the team. But otherwise, the main function of this squad is going to be these two. So as far as alternates, it's just whatever else you want to throw in there to keep the team alive. And if you don't have necessarily this guy or this guy, throw in other characters that can make your run go faster so that the loss of damage reduction and guard aren't as big of a problem. Super Saiyan 3 or Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta can work here because, like I said, with the rainbow orb changing that he provides, this guy's actually not going to he's actually not going to suffer as much. This is sort of like the Pan setup. Like if you were to bring Tech Pan on the team, Tech Pan gives the rainbow orb changing to the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta that you need to keep his tankiness in the slot 1. He can do that because he changes orbs for you. So Pan is no longer needed. You could bring in someone like God Goku, or not God Goku, UI Goku for rear guard stuff. Maybe swap him in if ultimately you decide this guy's not working out. And then he has great damage, great defense. So yeah. And you're kind of seeing the same sort of faces here, right? Like the Super Saiyan 4 DAIMA, the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. These are all very reminiscent of what I used to consider the best team in the game. So right here, this is the best team in the game, Super Class. I think now the Metal Cooler squad has very closely usurped the throne from these guys. But in terms of superclass, this is the best team in the game. This DAIMA Super Saiyan 3 Mini fits right in. And with just one of them on the team, it's far less of an issue in terms of risk than if you had two. And I think you can still keep the focus around the main damage dealers, the main contributors on the team. Even if his setup ultimately fails, there is still enough synergy and enough firepower here to where your rotation is not going to suffer. I wouldn't necessarily want my rotation to be entirely contingent on this guy's EX happening, because it's only going to happen 60% of the time if his attack is going to be a crit. If it's not going to be a crit, then we got a problem. So going back here, other alternates, Beast Gohan, a huge beneficiary of the DAIMA Mini Super Saiyan 3, right? Beast Gohan with the critical counters will be huge in terms of extra cheap shot damage to otherwise push the pace on an event. If you want to ultimately move the DAIMA Super Saiyan 4s into the slot 3 and have other characters kind of take their fair share early, then that could allow for Beast Gohan to do more. You could have this guy build up his defense more so that ultimately when this guy falls off, he can take over. Or you can have this guy provide some team stacking with his EX super attack. But if you do that, it's got to be one or the other. Like, you can't have both get the guaranteed crit. It has to be one or the other. I would rather have the Beast do that. Plus, he's got the surviving KO mechanic. Not that this guy needs it, but the other people on the rotation might need it, depending on how much health you have on that situation. So this, I think, is the best way to utilize the DAIMA Mini Super Saiyan 3. Now, this team functions very similarly to the last one because, again, like, these are the best leader skills that you want to be running. So if it's not going to be DAIMA Super Saiyan 4, double Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta also works because you've got team stacking with both of them. You've got rainbow orb changing that supplements both of them to make them more consistent. I don't know if you necessarily want to have Pan on the main rotation. You can have Pan float, but you can have more consistent team stacking, more consistent tanking with the Vegeta with this setup, aided by additional GT Hero characters. GT Hero is still one of the best engines in the game, so it's not that difficult to shoehorn this guy into the squad because he seamlessly fits. As a bonus, providing team critical will make this team better, but you don't need this guy to make this engine run, right? So this is going to be providing extra damage. If you find yourself in a situation where his defense is more compromising, you can float him off. That extra defensive cushioning that the Gogeta provides with all the other GT heroes on the team might help. Or if you need the revive counter, that can also kind of make up for the health that you lose with him. And the orb changing and the healings that you get from the Super Saiyan 4 Goku can also make up for what you lose here. Ultimately, he kind of lifts right out. He doesn't even have to be on the team. He's a luxury. So I think ultimately what this is doing is it's kind of showing that you don't need to have this guy on the team for these squads to work, but he will definitely make this guy more consistent. One of the big criticisms of the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is after his first turn, people say he sucks. And while I disagree with that, I understand where they're coming from because you need to have enough rainbow orbs so that you can keep this guy as Vegeta to provide the team stacks. But if you don't pick up enough of those, you don't have enough damage reduction along with your guard, you might get vaporized. This guy will give you that. So this is a good setup. DAIMA Super Saiyan 4 sort of becomes an afterthought here, or maybe you want to have these two together to keep that dynamic duo. Like I said here, DAIMA Super Saiyan 4 on practically every best team. So if you want to keep those two together, switch these two. Have the double Super Saiyan 4s kind of do their business. If one loses their first turn tankiness, swap it and then do something like this and have them. Did I actually switch them? I don't know if I did, but you get what I'm saying. And if that also isn't something that you're, totally fine with, and you could do something like this, have the Gogeta lead the charge, or maybe even the Pan. Have the Pan lead the charge. There's flexibility here. There's damage all around to share for everybody. There's a lot of speed involved with this team. You can burn through a lot of challenge events with this team. Alternates. TIE Fighters Goku fits on the... Ooh, what did I just do? I just messed up. Yeah. Kai Fighters works. So if we need regen, we got it with Kai Fighters. Spirit Bomb Z works. If we need even more regen, that helps. This will allow us to make up for the fact that this guy gets defensively compromised over time. Other than that, God Goku, or UI Goku. So again, you're seeing the same sort of options here. STR Super Saiyan 3, his EZA. I think I'm gonna love that unit when we do the showcase for his EZA. Where is he? Where's STR Super Saiyan 3? Hello. There he is. He was really far down the list. And these are just like the options that I'm pointing out. I'm not even sharing Gamma 2 or Bulma or Super Saiyan 3 Goku GT. Like, there's a lot more options that I'm just not showing, but I'm just showing like the best ones. This guy, again, one of the best units of all time, still able to swap in wherever he's needed. This is basically like a clone of the DAIMA Super Saiyan 4, but with team stacking. This gives you a bit more long form, friendly sort of gameplay with the, you know, the appropriate amount of defense. Now, I really like this team. This is a very well balanced team while also tapping into an old school leader skill. The 10th anniversary Vegito. The point of this setup is to allow for more characters to benefit from the guaranteed crit. When you ultimately get Vegito, you might want to have these two together so that his counters can be insane. But ideally, you want to have this guy in slot 1 so that he can get the most out of the attacks that he draws in, right? So that one's going to be kind of a toss-up depending on the situation. You make the judgment call. But with the flexibility of this old school leader skill, you can combine it with other units. And this is why the team builder options on these sites are so useful, because I wasn't thinking of this on my own. It was because of the team builder that I was able to see this. DAIMA Super Saiyan 4 can be run as your friend lead. Look at the balance here. Defense, revive. Defense, revive. Offense, critical counter. Offense, critical counter. Or defense, depending on what you want. And then again, you got the Shaq and Kobe dynamic duo right here with these two. Defense, offense, healing, whatever you want. Everybody works in basically every slot as long as this guy is your main guy. No Vegeta on this team, so there is a risk there. But if you want to bring in the Vegeta, actually, wait, does Vegeta fit on this one? I don't think he does. That's kind of why we're bringing in more of the revive focused people. Vegeta, Vegeta, Vegeta. So this is where you use the team builder. Okay, Vegeta still works, but he only benefits at the 170% leader skill with the Super Saiyan, the tech 10th anniversary Vegito. But he still fits for the most part. So he will continue to give that extra team guard if you want. If you don't like that, you can always just go back to the other setup that we had right here. And no matter what you need, this is a pretty well balanced team. So let's do something like this, right? It would be probably this, probably something like this, or maybe, you know what? Better yet, something like that. This feels like a more immortal setup. You kind of lose the consistency of this guy's EX attack, but as a trade-off, you have more regen. Whatever damage he takes in the slot 1, you immediately make it back up with this guy in the slot 2. And if it's still not enough, this guy will revive. But if it is enough, then this guy continues to tank and live another day without having to relinquish that revive right away. And then everyone else can continue to stack and continue to build up their stuff. This guy can, you know, do whatever he needs to do ultimately until he's ready. When he is ready, you can bring out the Vegito wherever you need that to be. Yeah, this guy isn't on the main rotation, but this is just one idea. Like, anyone can go anywhere at any time. And I like it. And I like that we get to utilize an old school lead for this. That's why I wanted to show this off. This is kind of a no new unit setup, but not really. So some of you guys had requested like a no new unit, but not really. So this is like that halfway middle ground. And yeah, it works. Alternates, I mean, it's just anybody that you want. GT heroes. All right, cool. Let's bring in some GT heroes. Let's take you out. Let's take you out. And let's take you out. And boom, we got GT heroes in here. So we throw in that dude. We throw in this guy. And we throw in... Where's Gogeta? Gogeta?
Hello.
There you go. Boom. GT heroes. UI Goku. This guy's transformation might happen a little bit quicker depending on how much damage you take, but if not, he's just a good slot 3 rear guard with that crazy dodge, so he works. Spirit Bomb Z once again coming back, making himself known because of how versatile he can be. He can go basically anywhere you need him to go. He does not fit the full leader skill, does he? Oh yeah, only 170, but still, you know what, I'm okay with that because of everybody else that we've got on the team. Spirit Bomb Z and Spirit Bomb GT both only fit the 170% because of this specific combination. But if we wanted to change this is okay. I'm kind of doing an extra impromptu on the fly leader skill. If we were to do something more like this, right? Okay, so we're still getting full leader skill from all of the... Ugh, this guy does not get much over here. Okay, so that's not necessarily going to work out too well. But if you're ready to deal with that, I mean, I guess you could make it work. I probably wouldn't. Yeah, this is why I plan the teams in advance and not try to do stupid like this. Okay, what about this guy? Does this guy work? Yeah, this guy works far better. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna move on because that was a mistake. Let's move on. And now to the best part of the video. No new units as of July 28th, 2026. No new units applies to characters who have not yet returned with coinable purchases. If the unit has not yet returned and is available with coins, they are not allowed to be used on the team. So this is more so for the here and now, and this is for those of you who don't have the new character. This is one of the best ways to utilize the team with the new character, and honestly, I think this is probably going to be what a lot of people do. Because like I said at the beginning of the video, the risk involved with this character might be a bit too much to have on both fronts. And when I say both fronts, I mean both rotations. If you isolate it to one rotation, you can plan around it better with your standbys, with your setups, with your items, so that if this unit ultimately loses guard and damage reduction and whatnot after 5 turns, you can sort of be ready for it, while still maintaining massive damage output, massive synergy, and all that stuff. So what we're doing here is we're running the Super Saiyan 4 DAIMA Goku as the lead. Believe it or not, yes, this unit is... My dad's calling me. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, and for some stupid reason, this iPhone will still let everything through. Everything. Anyway, what are we talking about? Yeah, believe it or not, DAIMA Super Saiyan 4 is actually a usable character now with the no new units rule. He's come back since the Tanabata celebration. So with this guy at the helm, you've got your damage, you've got your best link buddy with this guy. So between these two, you've got your rotation completely covered in terms of offense. And then it's just about building around the other rotation. So here's our defense. Our dodge tank specialist with the defense for the entire turn, 60% extra defense. This guy can be over here providing that, you know, extra damage while still having the extra defense. Or you could move Spirit Bomb Z in here, depending on what the situation may call for. Maybe you want to have Saiyan Roar together for a certain setup. So this guy can be a floater. This guy can stay on the rotation with his dodge and damage, or you want to have this guy move over here, or maybe you want to have the God Goku do his stacking, because he does stack. He loses some of his efficacy after 6 turns, but he can be fine as a floater, honestly. I'm not too worried about this guy and what he needs to be doing. I'm more so just worried about getting the momentum going. So everybody works everywhere that they're supposed to, and believe it or not, this is a high-functioning no new units team. I feel like for this particular celebration, it's not going to be as difficult for people to run this guy off lead. I don't think people are going to miss this guy on their main team, honestly, because there's just so much that we already have. Obviously, the team crit will be nice, but, you know, having more than one rotation of it, I don't think is that necessary. I think we're fine. So this is one setup. I guess we'll go ahead and just put the other one together right here in the video. So Super Tech, we're just going to run DAIMA Mini. So same exact thing. We're going to have this dude as the lead, and then we're just going to throw in everybody else here. The Super Saiyan 4 LR, I think, works because, like I said before, as you take damage, his ability to transform and exhaust the enemy will be utilized a little bit quicker. But then also, his healing will kind of help make up for the fact that you don't have this guy around. So once you lose that guard and you take some damage, you need some way to get a regen. And if the Kai Fighter's Goku isn't going to be around, then this guy can do the trick. So let's throw him on there. Who else are we missing? You... And then we throw in int UI. Yeah, there we go. Does Kai Fighters fit on this team? No, he doesn't fit. Yeah, he doesn't fit. Because of the fact that the DAIMA Mini Super Saiyan 3 is leading, that eliminates Kai Fighters from joining this team. He leads Dragon Ball Seekers, Mastered Evolution, Transformation Boost. Kai Fighters is none of those. I really hate that. I really did not like that when I was preparing this video. But here's another team. So again, damage, all set. Defense, all set. Everybody else, wherever they want to go, cool. I don't have much else to say about this because we've seen this basically on every single team. And this is what I was alluding to at the beginning of the video. The core engine that will make the DAIMA Super Saiyan 3's presence the most effective is going to be centered around Super Saiyan 4 Goku. To give him more longevity, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta will be present for that. To give him some regen, this guy will be around. But there are other ways to do this besides just having these guys on the team. These are just some of the best ways to utilize it. So I do like that the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta is sort of returning in terms of demand, but it just sucks that he's not back yet. So we can't bring him on the no new unit team. But there you go. Those are our best teams to run with the DAIMA Mini Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And if there are any other team builds that I didn't otherwise mention in this video, because I'm sure I've missed plenty, you guys can let me know. I just feel like these combinations are the best. If you don't manage to pull the character during this celebration, I don't think it's ultimately a big loss, because if you can just run him as a friend lead, there are still a lot of healthy ways to present this friend lead on some good teams while still getting the benefit of his team critical EX attack. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like down below, leave in the comments your thoughts on the best teams video. What are some combinations that I didn't mention that you want to shout out? And what are your thoughts on the character individually now that you've seen the character in action? Do you like the unit? Was it worth summoning for? Was it not worth summoning for? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future and click the notification bell so that you let YouTube know you're going to see more of my stuff. Do it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned and remember to Dokkan responsibly.